Imagine a city that would grow to dominate the ancient world, influencing everything from politics to architecture, all built on the back of 7 hills. But why these 7 hills? Was it a strategic choice or something far more mystical? What if I told you that these hills held more than just the foundation of an empire? They held secrets that shaped the course of history. Let's dive into the surprising and untold story of how the city of Rome was built on 7 legendary hills. Rome, one of the greatest cities in history, wasn't built overnight, and it definitely wasn't built randomly. The city was founded on 7 distinct hills: Aventine, Caelian, Capitoline, Esquiline, Palatine, Quirinal, and Viminal. These 7 hills are the literal foundation of the ancient city, each with its own story to tell. While most people know Rome as a city of emperors, gladiators, and architectural marvels, few realize just how central these hills were to its success. According to legend, Rome was founded in 753 BC by Romulus and Remus, twin brothers raised by a she-wolf. The Palatine Hill is said to be where Romulus built the first walls of Rome, marking the start of the Roman Empire. But here's where it gets interesting. These hills weren't just chosen for their height or defense. Rome's 7 hills were originally separate communities, each with its own identity, and it wasn't until they merged together that Rome became a unified city. For example, Aventine was home to the plebeians, the common folk, while the Capitoline Hill became the heart of Rome's political and religious power. Each hill had a unique role, and the city wouldn't have flourished without this natural division. Aventine Hill was where the plebeians, or commoners, lived. This hill became a symbol of the people's power over time, as it was here that they fought for their rights against the ruling patricians. Aventine wasn't just a residential area. It was where the famous Temple of Diana was built, dedicated to the goddess of the hunt. It was also believed to be one of the most mystical hills, with ancient Romans associating it with spirits and legends. Perhaps the most famous of the 7 hills, Palatine Hill, holds the legendary origin of Rome itself. This was where Romulus supposedly founded the city, and it became the home of emperors and aristocrats. Today, if you visit Rome, Palatine Hill is still a popular site for tourists, with ruins of ancient palaces that hint at Rome's grand past. What most people don't know is that this hill was also where ancient Romans believed the gods themselves had influence, making it not just the political center, but the spiritual heart of the city. Capitoline Hill became the core of religious and political power in ancient Rome. The Temple of Jupiter, Optimus Maximus, stood here, serving as the central place of worship for the Roman state. From the Capitoline, the city's rulers could oversee the forum below, where daily life in Rome unfolded. What's often overlooked, however, is that this hill was a massive symbol of authority. If you controlled Capitoline, you controlled Rome. But here's a fun fact many people don't know. Capitoline Hill also had a practical defensive feature. The hill's steep cliffs made it nearly impossible to attack from certain sides, a natural fortress for the city. While hills like Palatine and Capitoline are well known, Esquiline and Caelian are often forgotten. But these hills had strategic importance as well. Esquiline Hill was originally a burial ground before it became one of the wealthiest residential areas in the city. By the time of the Roman Empire, it housed some of the most luxurious homes. Caelian Hill, on the other hand, became a military hub, with training grounds and barracks for Roman soldiers. This hill also held the elite, showing how intertwined Rome's military and aristocratic power structures were. Quirinal and Viminal are often the underdogs in this story. Quirinal Hill, however, has a rich religious history, with many ancient temples devoted to Roman gods like Quirinus. Viminal Hill, although smaller in size, played a role in the city's expansion, housing military installations and important administrative buildings. These hills weren't just extra land, they were vital pieces of the Roman puzzle, each contributing to the city's balance of religion, military power, and public life. Here's something that may surprise you. The hills of Rome weren't just useful for defense or living. Ancient Romans believed the hills had mystical properties. They thought each hill was connected to the gods in some way, and specific rituals were performed on certain hills to ensure Rome's protection and prosperity. The city's layout wasn't just a matter of geography, it was shaped by deep-rooted beliefs, that the gods were watching over them from these 7 summits. The 7 hills of Rome weren't just a collection of elevated land. They were the backbone of the Roman Empire. From the spiritual significance of Palatine Hill to the political dominance of Capitoline, these hills formed the blueprint for one of the greatest civilizations in history. Each hill had its own story, its own influence on the people and the gods. So the next time you think of Rome, remember, it wasn't just built on stone and mortar, but on hills that carried the weight of an empire. If you found this journey through the 7 hills of Rome as fascinating as we did, make sure to hit that subscribe button. We have many more untold stories from history just like this one. Don't forget to leave a comment about which hill you'd want to visit if you could travel back in time.